Alright, so we've got yet another unboxing. Once again, one of my subscribers generously offered to send something of interest to be reviewed. In this case, it's coming from Ted and Jonathan, also known as Skater28, up in Canada. And made it through customs just fine. Not a lot on here to look at in the box itself, so we'll get right to the unboxing, but I did want to mention one thing I thought was interesting. They have the packing list, and sticker here that the international paperwork was okay, but apparently they take that when they do that. I hadn't seen that before. Usually the paperwork's still with the box, but I guess they at least they let you know that it was okay when they took it. So I have no idea what that said. Let's go ahead and see what we have in here. Big unveiling. And here we have, amongst all this brown paper, we have some brown paper. This is a Canadian IMP, or individual meal pack. Just the information on the front here. Doesn't seem to be any sort of a date code or anything. Now, the reason I'm excited about this is because I've never had an IMP. And in fact, it seems like, despite the fact that I'm in the US and Canada is our friendly neighbor to the north, there seems to be very few IMP videos on YouTube. It seems like something that would be a little more common. There's tons of MRE stuff, and this is basically the Canadian version of an MRE. But for whatever reason, you don't see a lot of reviews on here. So I don't really know exactly what to expect, and I'm looking forward to checking this out for myself. Now, from what I've read about the IMPs, they come in breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or supper menus. It's an IMP, so it's one meal. It's not like a 24-hour ration like some of the countries have. It's more along the lines of an MRE, which is a single meal. This one, I don't know if it's Menu No.9. Smoked meat with Demi-Glace Sauce. Sounds interesting. From what I heard from Skater28, this is going to be like a corned beef or a pastrami type of a thing. But that should be interesting. And he said that, I appreciate the fact that he wanted to send something that wouldn't be basically something that you'd find in an MRE, like a spaghetti with meat sauce kind of thing. So this should be something a little bit different that'll kind of separate it from the MRE stuff. And I think we'll go ahead and check it out. So as I've mentioned, I've never actually had an IMP. Never actually had one in my hands before. So it's probably not a bad idea to give a little bit of background on them. The IMP is the Canadian individual meal pack, a single meal ration. As I said, it's basically along the same lines as an MRE. Most of the items in here should be ready to eat, but it's obviously not called meal ready to eat, so it doesn't mean that everything has to be. There may be some things that need to be reconstituted with water. I don't think something that needs to be actually cooked, but at least reconstituted anyway. And they have an average of about 1,200 calories and a 3-year shelf life. I'm sure like MREs, they could probably eat them well after that, but that's what the standard is anyway, 3 years. So with thanks once again to Ted and Jonathan at Skater28. Let's go ahead and see what's inside of this thing. The first thing that I noticed, I like the fact that it's in this brown bag. It's not a brown bag lunch, but it sort of makes it feel like you're having a little brown bag lunch, which is sort of, I don't know, it's a nice touch. I'm sure it's not meant to be like a cutesy thing or anything like that, but I think it's kind of cool. And it looks like we're going to have to cut this to get into it. There's no appear to be any easy way to open it. That'll be my first one. I didn't really want to do a lot of damage, but I do have to get into here. So you can see it's a brown paper outside, but on the inside it's lined with foil of some sort, metal lining. Let's see how it's packed in there. I see the 2 boxes here to make it nice and flat. I'm going to guess that this is the entree. Smoked meat with demi-glace sauce. And here's the nutrition facts for anybody interested. And the ingredients, which are partially hidden by the tape. And I can't see, I'm sure, how to read the date codes on these Canadian ones. What is this packed by? This is packed by, it doesn't say. It's say on the inside. I'm sure this is some sort of a date code. And I wonder if it's a 5-digit date code, because Skater 28 did say that this was a circa 2013 meal, so that would make sense that the date code we're familiar with would be 2296 for the 296th day of 2012. But to make it a little less confusing, they might have gone with the 5-digit code, which actually includes the 12, so you're not confused as to whether it's 2002 or 2012. I am just guessing on that, I don't know for sure. Here we have, yeah, I think that is the date code. The 326th day of 2012, so right at the end of the year. This is sliced apples. Basically the ingredients are pretty simple. It's sliced apples, water, sugar, and ascorbic acid. The apples themselves have a few ingredients though. Here's the nutrition facts on this one. What else do we have here? Here we have bread. Obviously everything here is going to be in French and English. Oh, it's actually, I've never had this before. This feels like bread. Well, it feels like almost like a cake. I mean, it feels softer than wheat snack bread, but interesting to see what that is. Let's see any date code on that. Let's pull all this stuff out. We have a couple of peach sports drinks. One of the things that you can mix with water to reconstitute, or if you don't have the water to spare, you just skip this, I suppose, is mashed potatoes. And they avoid having to figure out amounts by just having a dotted line that you fill it up to. That's nice. There's a nice big pack of, I believe, instant coffee, Nescafe caramel flavor. Sounds nice. I'm not a coffee drinker, but sort of intrigued by that. And this actually has a more clear date. It's September 2013. I'm going to guess that this is about a year old. You have 2 packs of mustard, or moutarde in French, the end of 2012. Still more stuff. Peanut butter and raspberry jam. I was thinking of putting the meat on the bread as like a sandwich, but I have to use the peanut butter and jam. Moist towelette. Pack of matches. Ooh, this is nice for dessert. A Hershey's Creamy Caramel Bar. Got a little theme with the caramel going on here. It's like December 2000. Is it? Well, 2013 anyway. I have a mint here. There's some gum here. Looks like the same as you'd find in an MRE. Toothpick. A very small item, but this is something I think MREs could use. It would be a nice little thing to throw in there in the accessory pack. We have a nice long-handled spoon. And, yeah. I was going to say napkin, but this is more like a paper towel. That's pretty good. And the final thing is a beverage bag. One of the things I really enjoy finding in MREs, and it turns out the IMPs have it too. It's a nice touch. It's a little bit different from the MRE one, a little bit smaller. And this also avoids having ounces or milliliters by just saying that you add up to here for hot chocolate and add up to here for the sports drink. I don't know about the coffee though. Oh well. Let's take a quick look at these, the entree on the side. Here's the smoked meat. Okay, this is nice. I guess a lot of the entrees are from the Warner Company, which is one of the companies that makes genuine US MREs. So, as Skater 28 said, this is nice because it's actually a little bit different. This is from a company called Baxter's. And one thing about these IMPs is they don't come with a stove or a flameless ration heater. But this one might be a little bit big. I think the entrees are also a little bit larger than in the standard MRE entrees. But if you can fit it in here, you can put it into a standard flameless ration heater. Otherwise, you can heat it up in some boiling water or hot water. Or, of course, you can just eat it cold. It is ready to eat. Here's the sliced apples. Also from Baxter's. Alright, so here it all is. I have to say that the IMP gives you a very good amount of food. In addition to the smoked meat entree, which is a little bit larger than a standard MRE entree, you also have your mashed potatoes, which if you have the water to spare you can reconstitute. You have your bread ration. The sliced apples. I find it interesting, I just noticed that the Baxter's packaging is actually the same for both of these. They print on the back what the product is. But on the front, they actually have to tell you cooking instructions not applicable to fruit. So I don't think there'd be nothing wrong if you did heat this up, but obviously it's not meant to be heated. And it just gives you the general instructions, which are also on the smoked meat. Place on open pouch and pan of boiling water. Return water to boil and heat for 5 minutes. Pretty simple. And you also get the nice Hershey's bar, peanut butter and jelly to put on your bread. The 2 peach sports drinks, and I'm still not sure about this. I'm starting to think this might be hot cocoa instead of coffee, but we'll find out. It says contains milk, but I don't really see anything. The fact that it's Nescafe made me think it was coffee, but it could be hot cocoa. Either way, we'll find out. Now we'll go ahead and heat up our entree and reconstitute our mashed potatoes. I'll give the entree about 5 minutes to heat up in the boiling water. I guess it's not going to take much to reconstitute the mashed potatoes. You just add the hot water to the line and mix well. Looks like that should do it. So we have the long spoon, which I will attempt to not melt. And I'm thinking I could have gone a little less on the water. It's barely up to the line, but it's going to be a little runny, it looks like. No, maybe not. It seems to be thickening up already. Continue to sit while the entree heats up. The potatoes definitely constituted well. They thickened up a lot after I put the water in. Just thought it was a little bit interesting. I got a little taste of it, and it's very tasty. The MRE mashed potatoes are pretty well known for being a very bland kind of thing. It's more or less just mashed potatoes. A lot of times they add butter buds, so you can add some flavor, and of course there's salt too. I thought this was interesting. Unfortunately I ripped this, but the ingredients, potatoes powder, potatoes, a bunch of other stuff. And just look at the amount of ingredients. It's just a lot of stuff for what is just mashed potatoes. And there's definitely salt and pepper. I don't see a lot of other things that make it obvious that it would taste good, but it does. It's pretty tasty. And the thing I really find funny about this is it may contain sesame seeds, milk, eggs, fish and seafood, soya, wheat, sulfite, mustard, and gluten. You never know, it may contain some of those things. Because you just have to be complete. So check out a couple more things while we're waiting for the entree to heat up. Here's the bread. And it's like a little loaf of bread. It smells, it does smell more like bread than a wheat snack bread. It's a little bit softer than one too. I think they're pretty similar. It's got a a bit of a package smell, which is reminiscent of the wheat snack bread, probably because it's been in a package with an oxygen absorber. But not too bad. I'm going to try and split that down the middle so I can make a little bit more out of it. Get a look at what it looks like inside too. Sure looks like bread. Put a little bit of the peanut butter and the jam on here. Give it a good mixing up. Get the oil mixed in. So I guess in addition to the smoked meat, the potatoes, and the sliced apples, you can also make a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich out of this. It's the Hershey's Creamy Caramel Bar. I'm guessing this is a Hershey's product up in Canada. There's similar things in the US, but I don't think we have this exact same bar. We'll take a look at the sliced apples. There's a limited space on the tray. I'm going to put the apples in here. And I'll put the mashed potatoes in the smoked meat right here. It's time for our drinks. The beverage bag. I like to add my water first and then add the drink mix, but this does, the instructions say to pour beverage powder in the bag, so we'll do that first. I'm going to do one of the two peach drinks. It smells like peach. It smells like smell of dry fruit, sweetened dried fruit, like dried peaches. And then we add water to the line right here. About there. Mix this up and give it a good shake. Oh, you know what? Once this opened up at the bottom, there's actually quite a bit less water in there than I thought. I'm assuming they want it up to that line when it's fully opened. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Hopefully they won't be too watered down. Yeah, it seems to have mixed really good. Smells like peach. And since you only get one beverage bag for all the drinks, I went ahead and rinsed this out. So there's a little bit of peach in there, but hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. And we'll use this for the caramel flavored Nescafe, which now I'll finally find out if it's coffee or hot cocoa, and I'm betting on hot cocoa. Let's see. This caramel seems like an odd flavor for coffee. Although these days Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, you never know. You know what? I still can't tell. It doesn't smell like coffee. It also doesn't smell like chocolate. It definitely smells like caramel. So I'm going to guess that this is the hot cocoa. I'll dump the mix in here. And add some hot water to the first line. It's probably going to need to open again. Let's see. Yeah, I have to say I'm not exactly sure if they want it the bag closed, in which case it's full, or if they want it open at the bottom, in which case it still needs more, but I'm guessing they want it open at the bottom. Should give you a little bit more to drink anyway. Fill it up to the hot chocolate line. Give that a good shake. Looks good. And in honor of the fact that this is a Canadian IMP, I'm going to forego the regular coffee cup and use my Expo 67 mug, the World's Fair that was held in Canada in 1967. And now it smells like coffee. It's quite the mystery, but it appeared to be coffee. That's about it for the sides and everything. So I think we'll go ahead and attempt to get our mashed potatoes out of here. If I can open this bag up and make it a little bit easier. Maybe not. Just have to dig. Or, let's see, I can squeeze it out too, I suppose. Ah, yeah, look at that. We get some, didn't mix that quite well enough. Get some powder in there. And it's my first time doing it. I'm sure there's a good method. I probably should use the Kiwi Dude Gundog method of, yeah, using a chopstick to get down the corners, because as I feared, there's quite a bit of unreconstituted potato down there. So this doesn't seem as appetizing as it could be, but that's my fault, not the IMP's fault. There's a little more potatoes to be had, but because it's tainted with the powder, I'm going to call it quits there. That's unfortunate. And now for our entree. I found it very interesting that when you heat this up, the pouch bulges quite a bit. And with a standard MRE entree, when you see bulging pouches, that's a sign that you have to be careful, and it's probably no good. But considering the fact that this was fine when I took it out of the packaging, I'm thinking it's just a something that happens with the heating in this particular case. Didn't spew or anything, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I forgot to mention when I was looking at the ingredients for this, the smoked meat, it's actually corned beef brisket. Oh, that looks really good. It smells good too. Whoa. A lot of juice. I did read that the IMPs have larger entrees, but I guess a portion of it is juice, or liquid, or sauce. Man, that's going to go right over the edge. Okay, it's a pretty nice looking meal there. Time to try it out. It's not something I would think anybody would need to add salt to. But since they did give us a couple packs of mustard, add just a little bit of that. I was kind of thinking that you put the biscuit on the bread with the mustard, make a little corned beef sandwich. This is pretty good. It's got a little kick to it. That's very good. I actually prefer it without the mustard. It is nice that they give you the option, though. You need a bigger spoon. It's really good. Yeah, won't have any problem finishing that. We have some other stuff we had to try out too. Sliced apples. That's good. Doesn't have a lot of extra flavoring to it. There's obviously some sugar in there, make it sweet. A little bit of a crunch to them. It's very good. Now the bread. You want to try the bread by itself. See how it compares to the wheat snack bread. And it's good. It's not. It doesn't taste like fresh bread that you get from a bakery. It does have that slightly packaged kind of flavor to it. But I mean, as I said, it is packaged food, so you have to expect that. But considering that, it is very good. I have to say it's definitely a little more like bread than wheat snack bread, which is a good thing. I don't mind wheat snack bread, but it does seem kind of strange calling it bread. And the peanut butter and the raspberry jam are both very good. I'll try the Hershey's chocolate. Caramel inside. As you'd expect from Hershey's chocolate, that's good. It's good milk chocolate. It's sweet, and you get the caramel in there. Nice little dessert. Alright, now we'll try out the peach sports drink. That's good. It's got a good amount of flavor. I don't think I added too much water. Finally, the Nescafe caramel coffee or cocoa. Let's find out. Alright, it's definitely coffee. So that was a look at a Canadian IMP, or individual meal pack. Menu number 9, smoked meat with Demi-Glace sauce. And it was delicious. Thank you for watching.